Alright everybody, we're going to dive straight into this video to not waste time. I'm going to show you a method, what I like to use on the fly, for fixing broken wood, specifically trim, base, or case when on a job site and you don't have more material. So we're going to just jump right in on how to fix broken case molding or trim using super glue, blue tape, and sandpaper. So here's our break, and this fracture happened removing this trim with a pry bar. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that wherever the fracture is, it can be physically put back together in a dry fit without anything impeding a proper seal. So just dry fit it, clamp it with your hand pressure, and if you can get a good seal, that means it's probably going to work out okay. If not, you're going to have to remove debris. Next, simply fill void with glue. We're using super glue here kind of as an experiment, but also to show that it's very fast working. I do prefer actual wood glue when working with wood just because of the structural gains you get when you have a linear grain glue up, but super glue is incredibly effective and incredibly fast. So now I'm just going to pinch it together, make sure that we get some proper squeeze out, and cleaning as I go, because when super glue gets kind of gumped up like that in big piles, some dangerous things can happen, including off-gassing, potentially a fire. So I'm just going to wipe it down, and I'm going to make sure that those rags are properly laid out, not just kept in a bundle in the event that they ignite. Now I'm simply taking blue tape. While applying pressure with my left hand, I'm wrapping the blue tape as tightly as I can with my right, effectively giving me a clamp out. And I'm going to again do this at the base of the fracture and a little towards the top, which is going to give me more than enough pressure to hold this. I'm only going to wait about 10 minutes for this, and in the process I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a little bit of filler. This is what I had on hand. I prefer using, I think Forma wood is my favorite personal water-based wood filler. This is actually just pink spackle, the Dex brand. And I don't like to sand a lot of that dust off, so I wipe it down with a wet rag. Ends up saving me a lot of time sanding, even though it will retract a little further into the hole on the dry out, and you usually have to skim it twice, but it's a lot cleaner of a process. So here we go. Gonna unclamp here and just kind of remove the tape. Hopefully I don't pull off any more trim paint. Sometimes this happens, not a big deal. I'm going to come in and scuff sand with 150. Got a lot of excess kind of paint nubs and dust nibs on there. Going to scuff it down with 150. 220 is probably advisable for a smoother finish, but this is just my preliminary scuff sand before I prime. Here you see it's almost good. We need 2 more skim coats of filler, a primer, and this trim is going to be effectively brand new, preventing you from having to go out and buy more material. So there you have it, how to fix trim, case, or base, particularly wood, with super glue and blue tape. That's all you need. Does this method work on MDF or composite materials? Absolutely. I don't see why not. The only thing that I would say is if you get a little too fickle with how you fill some of the void on the excess, wait until you prime and then come back and skim coat with any type of filler you want. So it really exaggerates any type of divot in the grain where that fracture is now running your paint down into that void. But hopefully if you clean the break prior to gluing it back up, you're going to get a phenomenal bond back together. Nothing is in its way. Then that gap is not going to be standing off at any point. It will be fully closed just like this. And that squeeze out, little light sanding while the squeeze out's drying, it's going to help fill that with natural wood filler. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Again, the goal of this channel is to just kind of provide you with tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. So there you have it. Please be careful with super glue. As you guys can see in one of our other videos in the comment section, it does smoke, it does start fires, and it can chemically burn you. So please, please, please be careful. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't worry about it. Sorry. And subscribe. All right.